Ladies and gentlemen, today is June 10th, 2013, and this is the KNKL Daily number 63. I am your host, Kienan Lafferty, and today is Emma Monday, the day where we join together and we work on the lovely comic Emma-san, and you guys get to sit there and enjoy watching me create it. Now, before we get into that, however, I do want to say thank you to everyone who has submitted their entries into the awesome art contest that we have been having over the past couple weeks, right? And it just ended last Friday or Saturday. And the judging is now underway. So I'm probably going to need about a week to do that. And then once I determine the winners, I will be posting who's won and mailing off your glorious blue giraffes as well as the sketches that I'm going to be making for you guys. So thank you guys once again for everyone who participated. And I got some amazing submissions, some really cool stuff. And you guys really cease to amaze me with your creativity and art skills, which is why I'm going to keep teaching you, because I'm raising you up to become the part of the empire that is going to be KNKL Comics, and we're going to be bigger and better than all the other comic companies combined. Alright, last thing before we jump into actually working on the comic is I want to say thank you to Less Than Pie. This lovely man is part of the reason why we are able to keep the show going. Lovely people like him and viewers like you who have contributed their time, talent, or money to the cause of Emma and KNKL name. So, if you'd like to get your name on this list throughout the month, just click the link below if you're watching on YouTube, or visit Emma Comic Online, click the little donate button, and you can contribute as little or as much as you want, and I'll feature your name throughout the month. Alright, people, thank you very much to everyone who's just been waiting patiently for me to get this thing going. I know we're starting like 10 minutes late, but that is because I decided to take a large nap today, and it was good. It was a great nap. I actually woke up at 6:30 today and got some work done for some contract work, you know, for other video game companies that I can't talk about because it's a secret. So I was actually doing that today. And yeah, just been trying to get on a better sleep schedule. And things have been good. Things have been really good. Ever since Thoughtful Thursday, where we were talking about fear and just kind of like this feeling of wanting to do something but you don't allow yourself to, I'm really trying to do my best to get past that. And I feel like it's really working out. So A, I took a nap, and B, I actually didn't eat dinner. So we actually have some guests in our house right now. It's this lovely lady and her husband and her 3 kids, right? And so they're running around the house like going crazy, and they really like the comic, these little kids. I think they're like all below the age of 10. I think they're like, I don't know, 8, 9, and I don't know, 10. I don't know how old they are exactly, but they're like the cutest kids. And they were just making dinner. I woke up and they brought me a bowl of spaghetti and at my door. So I was like, what do you do with this? Wait, these kids bring you spaghetti. I'm starving. I gotta eat. I gotta shovel this thing down with lightning speed. So that was why we started a little bit late. And I thank you for allowing me to eat. But yes, I don't intend for stuff like that to happen, and we'll try our best to never have it happen again. But that's all behind us. That's water under the bridge. Wondrous water under the bridge. And now we're just going to get right back into drawing Tank, giving his awesome military signal. Which, by the way, this means wedge formation for those of you who haven't been in the military, like me. Right? Who haven't looked up military signals on Google and say that you've been in the military. Yeah. Hey, I played Call of Duty, right? I used to, until I shot it with an AK-47, right? Over there. That little target over there. That has a nice little story behind it. But that game is not with me anymore. My love, my heart now belongs to DayZ for the moment. And yeah, it's been pretty fun. Alright, so we're drawing Tank here. And I think the biggest thing that's really been helping me out, like get over this fear of drawing my own comic. Like, isn't that crazy to think that you would have fear over making your own comic? The thing that's been helping me out is I've been worrying way too much about capturing the character's likeness. And it's like, well, what if this doesn't look like the character, right? And for one thing, I've laid out the measurements of these characters' faces, so I know how to construct them. B, I have basically like the best tools in the world working digitally, because it's like even if I make this character's head too big or too small, I can just resize stuff. I can like grab arms and like move them around. I can just like reposition everything. So it's like really I have it easy, and I shouldn't be complaining. Quit your belly aching. So anyway, I just decided to kind of get over that and just kind of continue. And worst comes to worst, for some reason the character style changes, then that's bound to happen over the time of creating this comic. The character's style will change very, very slightly to a more efficient, just more refined style as the comic goes on. And I've even seen this with Emma. I've seen this with Emma, and I'm starting to see it with Nico. Mostly because I don't know exactly what Nico looks like, so I actually had to sit down and figure these things out, right? By way of doing these types of things. You come up with a face. It's like, okay, so this is the placement of Nico's facial features. He has like a larger chin, his nose is a little bit further up, his eyes angled down ever so slightly, and yeah, stuff like that. And I had like the original sketches of Nico, but I hadn't like nailed it down to that point yet. And then same thing here with Emma. I was like trying to figure out her measurements as well as the way that her eyes will open and close, and that's a big one. And trying to figure out how, like, when her mouth is open really wide, if her chin comes down a little bit, or if it does like that anime thing where the mouth just kind of like overtakes the bottom jaw, which personally I didn't want to do. So yeah, just figuring out those things. And yeah, tons of fun. So anyway, let's go ahead and finish up what we got going here with Tank. But yeah, I mean, it's been I hope you guys had a good weekend. I had a very, very good weekend. Played a little bit of DayZ. Got some more work, so I can continue living and eating. And yeah, working towards Babylon, right? For those of you who have been reading that book, The Richest Man in Babylon, teaches you some amazing things about what to do with your money and how to save for your future, how to invest and make money. Have your money make more money. And it starts slowly, but once you put the plan in place, you're on a good track. So that's kind of the things that I've been doing. Reading good books. I've been continuing to read Making Comics with Scott McCloud. For those of you who have not gone out and checked this out, please do yourself a favor and go check out Making Comics by Scott McCloud. Super awesome comic. Super awesome dude. Basically, if I ever make like a school, KNKL school of making comics, this is basically going to be the textbook right here that I will hand out to everyone. And we will learn to make comics from that. That'll be really sweet. Alright. So let's go ahead and draw in collar here. And we're going to have, this comes up like that. And this is what I'm talking about, like just kind of like going in and laying down lines with confidence, right? Laying them down with confidence, and then kind of making your adjustments from there, right? Because you've already got this sketch that you're going on behind, like that's going for it behind it, right? So you know basically what you want to be there. Now all you got to do is just kind of bring it a little bit more to life. And that will make you a happy man or woman. Alright, so let's go ahead and put this pinky down there. And that looks good, yeah. Giant hands. Got some giant hands. And the only thing that's been bugging me lately is something's going on with Ustream or something's going on with my computer where the chat just doesn't seem to update properly. And I don't know how to reload the page. I don't know how to reload the page. Or maybe, oh, there we go. Ha-ha! You just right click it and hit reload. Who would have thought of that? That works. Alright. So let's go ahead here. So a constant challenge that I've been having is like placing dudes on top of motorbikes. It's always been a bit of a challenge to me because you got to think about, okay, so their waist comes down here, their butt's going to be right about there, and so that means that their feet and legs are going to come out like this, right? That's the easiest way for me to think about it. Yes, and because Tank has knee pads, gotta make sure we get those in there. Don't want to forget the knee pads. Don't you dare. Don't you dare. If anybody forgot the knee pads in their fan art, instant disqualification. No, just doesn't work. I got a surprising amount of entries of characters that I was not expecting. Like there's a couple entries of Clem, and I don't want to give it away too much, but like I'll just say that there was a lot of really creative entries that I thought that it was just going to be a lot of like Emma and Nico, but you guys were drawing like the biker gang, the pirate biker gang. You guys are drawing Buttons. You guys are drawing like all these other characters that I was really happy about. Even Jimmy, the faceless, talkless, or speechless. I like talkless better. Let's stick with that. Speechless, talkless biker, Jimmy. People were drawing things at him. So even Jimmy got to shine, and he'll be shining once again in this part of the comic. Oh, what am I doing? This knee pad needs to come down. Actually, let's go ahead and use the crutch of Photoshop. Just bring that down. Bring it on down. Okay. And I was going to draw like these flappy things, but I forgot. Tank does not have those. Let's go ahead and do this. And let's go ahead and pull up Tank's bike. Always want to make sure I get this thing right. And I gotta finish concepting Clem's bike too, because I've got the sketches right here in my sketchbook that I'm looking at. But yeah, Clem's bike is a little bit more of an enigma as of right now. All right. So he's got 1, 2, 3 stripes that go through there. Good, very good. Very good. And let's see. So what we're going to be doing here is this light is pretty much in the right spot. And this light is almost in the perfect right spot. And let's make sure we just bring these handlebars up like this. And I need to remember exactly what his handlebars do. So let's go ahead and pull up a reference. Referencing my own comic. Let's see here. What the heck is going on? What is this? Come on. Let's work here. Alright, there we go. This is the cutest one of them all. He's the young. How old are you? 4? You're 4? This kid is so cute. I love this kid. This is Kienan, and he's got a piece of grass. What's up, Kienan?
It's on the ground right there.
It's on the ground? What was it doing there? I didn't put it there.
It's down there. Oh, I do down there. And I found it down there.
Yeah, nice. I'm doing my show right now, Kienan. Do you want to be part of it, or do you want to watch it downstairs? You can go downstairs and watch it.
Noah's downstairs seeing you.
Yeah, you want to go? You want to go watch it with him, or he's probably watching you right now. He can see you right now. Everybody can see you. So yeah, that was Kienan, and he's freaking awesome. I love all those kids. So, anyway, yes, they're actually big fans of the Emma comic and the show. So, that's why I always like to make sure that I am being friendly to all audiences. I always think about those kids. I'm like, gotta be good. Gotta be good for those kids. And you guys actually heard me talk about them before. You guys have heard me talk about them before. So, anyway, okay, so where were we? Oh, yes, we were pulling up some reference of the bike over here. Let's go ahead and get that. I think that was part 3. Yeah, here we go. Alright, so that's what his handlebars do. They go up, down, straight out. Perfect! Perfect! So that's right over there. Alrighty then. These dudes have like the coolest bikes. I really wish that I could have one as cool. Not cooler. Alright. So let's go ahead and get that in. And again, like, this kind of goes back to what I was talking about, guys. See how I'm just kind of like laying in these shapes? Like, very, very quickly and hopefully, like, confidently. I'm not allowing myself to overthink stuff. Because in the end, people are going to be viewing this at that big, like that size, right? So it's pointless for me to worry so much about like all of these details and all of this, you know, making everything look exactly right. Even Tank's face, you know, I could easily just leave it as like a shape there, right? Like I don't even have to draw his eye in, which I probably will end up doing. And because it's so far away, we don't have to worry so much about all that detail. And yet people will know who this is. And that makes me happy. I like it when I can do less work and get the same effect. That's always on my mind. Less work, same effect. I don't like to skimp, but, you know, thinking about in terms of efficiency, right? It's all about efficiency. So let's go ahead and continue this. Continue this. Okay. So we got this here. We got the tire. It's going to be coming out like that. And I got this thing coming up. And this part going back and meeting the gas tank. So gas tank goes right there. And these pipes come down and then we'll hit the seat right there. Yes! Okay, there we go. And then the back wheel will be right about, actually it'll be more like there. And we also can't forget about the cool pipes. Let's not forget those pipes. In fact, I'm going to put the pipes in right now. I'll put the pipes in right now. Here and here. And then I'll just put his coat over top of them. There we go. Yeah, because this wind would really be whipping up his little coattails there. So yeah, let's really like play that up. Yeah, that looks good. 1, 2, 3, yeah. Cool. But yeah, isn't that funny how you can develop all this uncertainty of things that even you know that you can do, right? In this case, making a comic. You can still psych yourself out to the point of, oh, I don't know how to draw my own characters, you know? It's so funny how you can do that. And quite frankly, I am tired of it. So, no more of that. Just going to be going for it. Just going to finish this part up as it should be done. And I'm going to release it. And you guys are going to love it. You better. Better love it. Otherwise, well, I'm just going to keep going anyway, but it'd be nice if you guys enjoyed it. That would make me very happy. After all the hard work that I put into it. But we shall see. We shall see. Alright, so that's looking good. That's looking good. Let's go ahead and finish this off here. Get this thing up here. Yeah, so these little kids are like 4. I don't even know what their age is. So Kenyon's 4. Noah's the middle one. I think if I had to guess, I would say he's 8. And then Miles, which is really cool because that reminds me of Sonic. You remember Tails' actual name is Miles. And I think Miles is maybe 10. That's my guess. And they're probably going to correct me after this, but that's just a chance I'm willing to take. Alright, so I'm not worried too much about this here. Like I don't have to worry about drawing the spokes in this frame because when they're moving, it's more like a little zigzag line that goes through it. So, not too worried about that. Alright, that is good for me. That is more than good for me. That is splendid. Splendid. And I'm actually going to shade this area in just so I'm very clear when I go in to line this, you know, what is bike and what is tank. In fact, I might need to shrink down this area just a tad bit. So I got to think about his feet on the spokes here. The spokes are like right there, so the tip of his boot would be coming up just barely, and yeah, his boot would look a little bit more like that. Lovely! Okay, so the one thing that I will say that I've noticed here is we need to have our brakes in here, so let's make sure we have those. Back to reference. Issue 2, Part 1. I think we get a good shot of his bike right here. Yeah. Okay, so brakes are really, really easy on this one. Super easy. They just kind of come out like that. Yeah, that's easy. Nothing too crazy. And now Tank's upper half is actually looking a tad bit large. I know he's a big guy, but he needs to be shrunk down just a tad bit. It'll help reinforce like the space that's happening here, and it'll make his legs look less dinky. Yeah, that's looking better. And when in doubt, always just flip it around. Just kind of take a look at it. Oftentimes when you flip things around, you will have a very clear view of what's going on. Sweet! And then we come to another very, very cool part of doing sort of similar panels like this. If you notice, these 2 panels that I'm working on right now are very, very similar, right? Almost, it just kind of zooms in on this arm, but this, like, this handlebar right here is the same. You know, we could have the same leg in there, and it's basically from the same angle. So what you're going to see me do is I'm going to save a little bit of time. I'm actually just going to copy this drawing right over and alter it. That way, we save time and energy, and the comic comes out faster without sacrificing quality. Now, you don't want to do this as a crutch or to just kind of fill your comic, right? Unless it's that type of comic where there's usually a lot of stuff in, you know, like heavy dialogue type of comics where it's just like 2 characters like sitting there talking, and then it's basically the same exact character, but they'll change the hand or they'll change the face a little bit. And for that, it's totally fine. I think that's fine, but you just got to be careful not to do it and like be super obvious about it. You know what I mean? Because it'll come off as cheap and cheesy, and people will not take it for very long. Me included. They won't buy it. Literally. Alright, so I'm just kind of cleaning this thing up here. I'm liking that. I wanted to put a little bit of separation between this handlebar and his arm there, just for a little bit of clarity's sake. Avoid that tangent. And yeah, this is looking pretty dang good. I like that. However, this handlebar is still bugging me just a little bit. I don't know, is that bugging anybody else? Maybe it's just me. I'm just thinking too much about it. Ah, yeah, I am. Okay, moving on. So let's go ahead and lasso this and do the awesome copy paste. Stop. Okay. Copy pasta. Whoop. Alright, so let's just go ahead and sync this up with what is there. So we got like his shoulder there. And what is actually being shown here? Not much, just a little bit of that. A little bit of this here, a little bit of that handlebar, his coat. I think that's about it. And his face. I think I'll line it up with his face because I think that's the most important thing. Right above his eye. Alright, cool. So let's go ahead and I'm going to use a mask here just in case I want to go back and kind of mess with this a little bit more. So I'm not actually going to erase this. I'm just going to simply mask it out. Okay, so let's go ahead and fill that. There you go. And let's begin the alterations, shall we? Let us begin the alterations. Yes. Alright, so basically the only thing that's happening here is really just his arm. His arm is changing. Everything else is pretty much the same. So, let's go ahead and make sure that this is all going to work out properly. I actually don't like the position of this arm. I'm going to move it. That way I can get a little bit more of a feeling of what it's going to look like. I'm going to move it up a little bit. Maybe out? No, it should be staying pretty close. Fairly close, because if it's too far out, it might look a little weird. I don't know. If I were to do this, yeah, my arm is quite a ways out, actually. So I think I might actually play that up. Kind of move his arm out a little bit. And you want to think about, okay, if that arm was extended and his leg was extended, would that be reaching his hip? And the answer is yes. So we are in fairly good proportion. So let's go ahead and continue. And actually, Tank's arms, like the way he's proportioned, he's got kind of really big arms and big hands. So if his arms look a little bit long, then I'm okay with that. Because we are being consistent. And consistency is key. Now let's see, if I did this, I notice one thing that's a little bit different than what's happening here. My arm is arcing out and then back in a little bit more. Whereas this one is kind of more straight, and I like the strength that happens when you do a little bit more of the outward arm, like that, right? The downward dog. I almost said that. Alright, so let's go ahead and do that. Do that. We got 1, 2, and let's go ahead and do the fist. That looked better in theory. I don't know if it looks good there. Maybe I do need to stick to the original sketch. Yeah, let's see if we can get this figured out. Alright, so we know we've got shoulder here. And we're going to have this coming out like that. So his elbow is like right there. And then arm is coming out like that. Now I want to make sure that his fist is not like this, you know, like pointing back. It needs to be like that, right? Like he's gonna stab a zombie in the face that's right behind him. That's what his fist should look like. So I might actually end up coming back to this and just maybe using a reference, because this is a little bit. I usually like to try to kind of just jam my hands out, right? But this might need a little bit more love. So for now, I'm just gonna throw it in like this. Okay, okay. And that thing should not be up there that far. Should be more like this. Brilliant! Brilliant. Alright, let's make sure we get those muscles in there. We gotta make sure Tank is a strong man. So yeah, it just goes to show you, like, everybody needs reference from time to time, and I can't always, you know, pull everything out of the hat. Sometimes. Even things that you think would be simple will not be. And they will torment you, and they will do battle. But if you are patient and you do not give up the fight, you will be victorious. Okay. I really want to get this. Okay. So it looks like we go like this, and his knuckles should be like right there. Yeah. Yeah. I also would ideally like to be able to show that he's making this motion, like he's going like that. But I'm trying to figure out how to do that. Maybe I could just do that with a simple couple lines here. That might do it. Or maybe, I mean, I've got these things pointing to it. You know, it's like my, hey, look here things, right? But I just want to make sure that that is enough. And as far as this flap thing goes, we could change this up a little bit to help add some more clarity to it. I can make it a little bit smaller, right? Because it's like flying around in the wind. It would be constantly changing. So it is plausible that we could change the shape to be a little bit more fitting for wanting to show this feature off. This arm actually is still looking a bit long. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab this and move it up. Make it large and in charge and move it up, because he's got giant hands. Yeah, and then I'm not going to wait around too much on this. Like, if I need to come back and make some changes to it, I will. But for now, that looks pretty okay. Looks pretty okay. But it just doesn't have that intensity that I'm looking for. I might end up, like, zooming in on it a little bit, too. Might end up doing one of these things. Zooming in even further, like that. That way we can really see the fist. I might end up doing something like that. But for now, let's go ahead and just leave it the way it is. So cool, guys. We've got that page all finished. Let's go ahead and pull up another one, and we'll see if we can get some things. There's actually something on the page before this. It looks like we got about, I'm going to go for about 10 more minutes, and then I'm going to open up Question Catapult. So get your questions ready. Get them ready. Alright, so let's go ahead and pull up. Let's see here. Let's go to page 20. Let's make sure that's the right one. Let me take a quick look over here at the chat. Brian Hogan, you missed the kids. How sad. Pony Sharp was saying the arm looks short. Dang it. Alright. Well, that is a good case of draw it now, come back to it later. Alright, so one thing that I've always been wanting to do, guys, and I'm probably going to do it right here, is we're going to really quickly figure out exactly what Tank's bike, or not Tank's bike, what Clem's bike looks like, right? Because he's supposed to have this awesome, like, three-wheeler looking thing with, like, a giant cow scoop on the front. And I've done a sketch in my sketchbook of sort of, like, the design of it. But it's sort of, like, from the back end, right? So I kind of want to draw, like, really quickly, like, a profile view of it and maybe, like, figure out exactly how this thing works, because I drew like these tusks things coming up here, like see Clem's bike here. I almost did that thing again where I didn't switch the camera, but okay, got it. I caught it early. Alright, so notice these things happening here on Clem's bike. I really like these little things, and I just want to really quickly figure out the exact design. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Shall we? Yes, yes. Alright, so let's go ahead and close down page 21. We'll save that for later. I'm actually going to back that up right now. Back that up. I think it's good to go. Yeah. And yeah, let's go ahead and jump into figuring out exactly what Clem's bike looks like. That will make us all very, very happy. And let's see how. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I think I'm going to just take away the frames, take away Nico, and I'm going to duplicate just this area right here. That way we can work with it. And let's go ahead and figure out what this bike is. And I'm going to sneeze. Oh no. Nice. The mute button comes to our rescue once again. Alright. Let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so the basic design of this bike is it's kind of like low to the ground, right? Kind of low to the ground like this. And it's basically built off of like one of those old ATCs with the three wheels. It's one giant wheel in the front and two giant wheels behind you. And since then, they've made variants that are basically like the reverse of that, where it's like two giant wheels and one in the back, which I think is pretty cool. But I really want to see like these classic things like reinstated into the zombie apocalypse. So let's go ahead and just draw what I see here, because I like the general thing that's going on with these wheels and everything. Looks really cool. Looks really cool, really chunky, and that's kind of what I want it to be. Since after all, it is Clem's bike. It should be big and chunky and burly, like Clem himself. And full of zombie teeth, right? Alright, and I gotta figure out what these cow scoops are, because these are so sweet. Like, they look really cool from this angle. And I gotta figure out how they work. So it almost looks like they come back like this. And I've made previous iterations of exactly what this is and what it does. But I just really want to kind of get it set in stone as to what exactly this design is. And I can actually pull up that other... See, this was like the first iteration of it right here. Right here with these cow scoops. So I'm basically playing off of this design and like finalizing it, making sure it's like, okay, this is exactly what it is, this is how it works. And this is just so you can be consistent with it. Because we like consistency oh so much. We like it oh so much. And it's very important that we get this figured out, because these babies are going to be coming into play here very, very soon. These cow scoops. With the zombie horde and all. We'll see just what these things can do. Cool. And I'll make them so they're kind of like fanned out right here. So they're kind of like sticking out already. That looks good. Cool. Alright, now let's go ahead and move on to what's going on in the background behind this thing. And I think really in the beginning when I'm designing these bikes is I'm thinking a lot about flow, and it's all about flow and just shapes, right? So that's all I'm worrying about. Just about flow and shapes. In fact, I might end up, already I can see that I'm wanting to move this wheel down a little bit because we gotta have some extra room for Clem to sit his fat butt in. And then you got like this little contraption thing down here, kind of you rest your feet on. Yeah, that wheel's definitely gonna have to come down. And I kind of like how it's low to the ground. This is definitely a different variant of what it was before, what it was prior to this. And it is a little bit stubby, so we need to move this back. A tad bit stubby. Cool. We want Rorida. Rorida. Okay. It's good. It's good. That looks pretty cool. I like that. Awesome. And we got to figure out all these little engine bits in here. Not super worried about that right now. I'll probably just end up kind of copying it from a current motorcycle that I've got. Ooh, I kind of want to like have these pipes like sticking out. Like it has like 2 exhaust pipes that come out like right here. Oh, that looks cool. And those go up and connect in here somewhere. Yeah. I kind of like this giant back thing. So it's kind of like, so he could be driving and he's like kind of kicking back and he looks like really cool, right? Ah, yeah, this looks really sweet. This is a sweet bike. Yeah, looks really cool. But I was actually pretty scared of making vehicles, like designing vehicles when I first started this comic. But mostly because I don't know crap about doing it. So it was really, really fun to actually sit down and get these things figured out. Ooh, this is looking really cool. Lovely! Lovely! Alright, let's go ahead and kind of fill in these shapes so we know what is actually part of the design, what is a shape, and what is just kind of left open. That's looking pretty good. These wheels will kind of sit underneath these little, I don't know what you call them, fenders? Wheel protectors? And what kind of hubcaps would he have? I kind of want to keep them simple. Because keep in mind I have to draw these over and over and over again. So I don't know exactly what type of tires I'm going to give him. If you were to stop, what would they look like? Just like a simple thing like that, like a star design. Yeah, that actually looks really cool. 5-spoke classic star design. Gotta love it. And not too much detail. But dang, that's pretty sick. That's the sickest 3-wheeler I've ever seen. Alright, so that's definitely helping me out quite a bit. That definitely looks like that could translate to that now, which is really good. That's what I wanted. Alrighty, peoples. I think it's that time, wouldn't you say so? That's right. It is time for you to line your catapults over the questions, or over the castle walls. Yeah, just line them over the questions and chuck them. Chuck them over the castle walls, and I will answer them. Send them back to you on a bed of rice. That absolutely makes no sense, but I freaking love saying it every time. Yes, it is question catapult time. So any questions you have, please ask them in the chat to the right. I'll answer them, and then we'll end day 63 of the KNKL Daily. And until then, I think I'm just gonna continue figuring this bike out. Make sure this thing is working properly. Get this thing working proper. Alright. Good. Good. Veggie good. And also, Tank has like a little insignia. I don't know if you guys caught it, but Tank has like a little bunny skull on the side of his tank on his motorcycle. And I'm trying to think of what Clem's would be. What would Clem have on the side of his tank, or what would he have as a design on his bike? Maybe a tooth? A zombie tooth? I don't know. Nah. Too obvious. Too obvious. Let's see, what else could he have? I don't know. What does Clem enjoy? What does Clem enjoy? I don't know. That's something I'll have to think about. If you guys have any ideas, just feel free to check them over here, and I'll draw them up. A zombie head. Eat this. I actually like eat this. I might do something like that. I could be zoom in there. Let's darken this part in. Eat this. I like that. You'd probably have something on like this part right here too, like the cow scoop part of it. But I am not sure. Not quite sure. The jury's out on that one. Alright. Let us see here. Let's just put some finishing touches on this. And I think we'll call that good. Simon is asking a good question over here. He's asking, you mentioned overthinking things before. When do you get the impression that you're doing it? I think the best time to understand that that's what's happening is when you want to do something, when you want to draw something, but then you sit down, and this is oftentimes what people call artist block, right? Where you just feel so afraid to like pick up this little stylus and like put it on the paper or on the tablet. And that's when I can tell that I'm really just like stalling. You notice you get distracted easily, right? You'll be like, oh, I totally forgot to go to the store and buy dog food. You can't just let your dog starve. I gotta go get him some food, right? I gotta go get him some treats. He really likes the canned cat food. Even though it's for cats, he really likes that. I gotta go get it for him right now. Right? And you just latch on to all these distractions that'll pull you away from something that you're really into doing or wanting to do. And this is really what happens with me most of the time. So just take note of that whenever that's happening, because usually it means you're stalling and you might be overthinking stuff and you're just psyching yourself out, right? And the best thing to do when you're in that mood is literally just to sit down and do it. And I know it's easier said than done, but literally just like, even if it's going to be bad, just allow it to be bad at first, right? And that's kind of something that I talk about. It's like for us digital artists, we have it super easy. Because if we draw that character's head too giant, which I usually do, I usually make all kinds of silly mistakes with the head. Like sometimes, like when I first drew this Clem, he probably had a head that looked like this, right? His head was probably like that, right? And so looking at it, I'm like, oh, that looks really weird. But then I just lassoed it and fixed it. And then I just kind of filled in the lines. So you can always just move things around. And worst comes to worst, you just don't like it and you try it over again, which is something that I do at times as well. Sometimes I'll just draw out a panel, I'll draw out an idea, and then I'll just get done with it and I won't like it. And I'll be like, you know what? I don't like this. But then along the way, 90% of the time, I will have gotten the answer or gotten what I was looking for, right? Or I get the idea of the actual panel layout that I'm going to use. Then I just go in and do it. Yes, mojo. Ozzy's saying that's called mojo. Don't lose your mojo. Don't lose your mojo. Ever! Or else I'll find you. Alrighty, peoples. I think it's high time we end today's daily. So I want to say thank you to everyone who has joined me live once again on Ustream. Joining me live makes me feel so happy to have you guys here talking in the chat, asking questions, and witnessing with your very own eyes what is happening before you. I'm going to go ahead and pull up epic outro music. Here we go. Alrighty, people, so we're going to go ahead and end today. For those of you on YouTube, thumbs up if you like it, thumbs down if you don't. My name is Kienan Lafferty. I'll see you guys tomorrow for Tutorial Tuesday. Got a great tutorial planned, and we're going to have some fun. Till then, you guys take care. See ya.